So today we're going to talk about what I'm going to call the weather wars, nature's fight back, and the fall of America. Got a lot of stuff here, details and stuff, so I'm going to just go through it. Just follow along. America is home to almost every type of natural disaster, yet its people remain oblivious to the effects of extreme weather and climate change. Many dismiss climate change as a hoax, while corporations cling to the paradigm of infinite growth, prioritizing profits over environmental stewardship. This mindset leads to the reckless exploitation of nature, burning coal instead of adopting renewable energy, clear-cutting forests rather than cultivating sustainable alternatives like hemp. The Christian doctrine of dominion over nature reinforces this attitude, embedding a destructive worldview deep within the American psyche. We see this with the phrase in the Bible, God gave man dominion over the land, the sea, the air, however the quote goes, and the fish of the water and everything. So even in the language that they use in the Bible, they're coming at this thing from a place of ownership over things and people other than cooperation. Let's get into it though. America, over the past 40 years, right, the climate has shifted dramatically. Storms last longer, seasons have become unpredictable, and sea levels continue to rise. Global temperatures have increased significantly from a pre-industrial average of 13 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius and higher in some regions. Carbon dioxide levels have surged from 280 parts per million to 420 parts per million and beyond. 90% of this excess heat is absorbed by the oceans, raising their temperatures to alarming levels, equivalent to detonating 5 Hiroshima atomic bombs annually since 1990. Hurricanes have intensified, with half now reaching Category 4 or 5 strength. Warmer air moisture causes these storms to dump 10 to 15% more rainfall, while weakened jet streams cause them to stall for days. These same jet streams create heat domes over the Pacific Northwest and prolong winters in cities like Chicago. Wet regions grow wetter, drier regions are growing drier. The 2022 Pakistani floods affected three times more severe than usual and affected 33 million people. Meanwhile, the ongoing 23-year drought in the American Southwest ranks among the worst in 1,200 years. A false spring in 2012 caused 500 million in frost damage to Michigan's crops, and this is only the beginning. Right? While other nations invest in flood defenses and sustainable planning, the U.S. ignores escalating climate disasters, infrastructure repairs, favor wealthy enclaves. New York's neglected neighborhoods stand in stark contrast to its gleaming financial districts. The result, cities crumble under preventable damage with recovery efforts hampered by wealth disparities. Let's consider how other countries now address their or the world's climate issues, right, abroad. So in Japan, there's a model of disaster preparedness. As one of the most disaster-prone nations, Japan employs multi-layered defenses against earthquakes, tsunamis, and floods. Strict building codes mandating shock-absorbing foundations, flexible materials, and retrofitting for older structures. During the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, Tokyo's high-rises survived thanks to advanced engineering. Coastal cities like Sendai deployed 10-meter-high seawalls, floodgates, and clearly marked evacuation routes. After 2011, critical infrastructure was relocated inland. Japan's earthquake early warning system provides life-saving alerts via phones and public broadcasts. In China, they're combating the floods with the China Sponge City Initiative, which was started in 2015. This is using permeable pavements, rain gardens, and artificial wetlands to absorb 70% of stormwater, reducing the urban flooding while replenishing the groundwater. The controversial Three Gorges Dam effectively regulates the Yangtze river floods, while this South-North water transfer project redistributes water to drought-prone regions. And AI-driven early warning systems predict rainfall patterns, enabling preemptive reservoir releases. Right. So then we got Europe. The In the Netherlands, they lead with innovative solutions like Rotterdam's floating neighborhoods and water plazas where underground parking garages double as flood reservoirs. The Delta works as a system of dams and storm surge barriers and remains a global benchmark. In Switzerland, alpine towns like Zermatt use terraced forests, snow fences, and controlled detonations to prevent avalanches. Strict zoning laws prohibit construction in high-risk areas, right? So we can see, like, just in other places around the world, how people are already preparing and planning for what's to come and what is already happening, while America is still deciding on whether this is a real phenomenon or not. So unlike the US, these nations integrate disaster resilience into urban planning, prioritizing prevention over reaction. America's systematic disregard for nature leaves it uniquely vulnerable. Ironic given that the US faces nearly every type of natural disaster: tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, blizzards, and mudslides. That's like 6, right? So now, lately we've been seeing, right, the wildfires in California. We've seen 18 of its 20 worst fires have happened since 2000, right? And with the flooding in Miami, they now experience 90 sunny day floods annually, up from 6 before 1990, right? The naval base out there, the Norfolk Naval Base, is suffering $1 billion in flood damages yearly. The heat waves in Phoenix, extreme heat killed 645 people when the overnight lows stayed above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The 2021 Pacific Northwest heat dome, which claimed 1,400 lives in Washington and Oregon. The grid failures in Texas with the 2021 freeze. This was exacerbated by deregulation, right? And it killed 246 people. Energy companies are profiting $11 billion while this is all happening from price surges. So this is all like baked in, cooked in shit, right? Now we got the corporate greed and then the systemic failure from all these different elements. Because as nations, abandon the dollar from the erratic U.S. foreign policy now, America's ability to fund disaster and recovery diminishes. Hyperinflation is looming, and the dismantling weather agencies and environmental protections accelerates the global instability. Insurance companies compound these crises as well. After the wildfires in LA, insurers canceled 27,000 policies, leaving families homeless. There's overnight, just canceling policies. The state-run fair plans charge $5,000 plus for annual basic coverage, and then leave you high dry when you need it. The National Flood Insurance Program is at $20.5 billion in debt, yet Congress refuses to update flood maps or deny rebuilds and repetitive loss zones like Houston Star War. Flooded 7 times since 2000, by the way. So disaster relief is equally broken, right? So after Hurricane Katrina, FEMA wasted $2 billion on formaldehyde-laced trailers. Can't even sleep in those. The GOAC zone incentivized private equity firms to exploit storm-ravaged properties. So they come and swoop in after this shit happens and come buy everything up. In Puerto Rico, FEMA awarded $33.7 billion to the Whitefish Energy, a 2-person firm with GOP ties, for grid repairs that never materialized. Meanwhile, Wall Street vulture funds seized control of the island's debt. So yeah, you have a system designed to fail here. These venture capital firms profit from devastation. BlackRock bought up a bunch of land in California. Goldman Sachs does the same thing. Into homes post-Katrina. Louisiana's Cancer Alley residents received no buyouts after the floods there. So without affordable protection, cities risk becoming shanty towns after a single catastrophe. Unless wealthy investors see profit in the land, this neglect fuels unrest as poor and middle-class communities are abandoned. The wealthy rebuild or relocate. The average citizen is left to fend for themselves. To understand the plan here. So, it's a lot of shit here. We're still divided on climate change, right? In America, that's still like something we're arguing about if it's real, as other countries acknowledge it and just are building towards it. So We have one side clinging to rugged individualism and the other advocating for social welfare. And the right dismisses climate science, dismissing agencies meant to mitigate disasters. Right. In 2018, Trump slashed 350 million from pre-disaster grants, forcing states to compete for scraps. Biden restored some funding, but the 2023 budget still favors reactive relief over resilience, and that's key. It's money that's, instead of building infrastructure, we're gonna just try to rebuild after the calamities already happened, right? But Trump's rollbacks worsens the crisis. The 2020 transparency rule barred the EPA from using peer-reviewed climate science. The Obama-era flood standards were repealed, exacerbating Hurricane Ida's damage. And then NOAA, National Climate Assessment, was gutted in 2017. So we're both suffering, both sides. Urban, rural, right, left, Dem, Republican, whatever, as Americans, we're all suffering. This blame is redirected instead of addressed. The myth of pulling oneself up by bootstraps persists even as survival is going harder and harder by the day. Most Americans lack basic empathy, and this is on both sides, right? And until tragedy strikes them personally. This systemic negligence underscores a harsh truth. Only catastrophe may awaken the nation to the folly of dominating nature. We must realign with the environment, rejecting exploitation for collective survival. The U.S. government's corruption and short-sightedness ensure that without change, the consequences will be dire, and the American people will suffer the most. And that's all.